Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing good and keeping well. So, I welcome you to Debian Hat, wherein I discuss about cybersecurity topics related to CTFs, penetration testing, and more precisely to penetration testing. So far, we have discussed a lot about. So, today as well, likewise, I am going to discuss about a box from TryHackMe, which is internals, and it is one from the series of offensive penetration testing from tryhackme.com. So you guys can definitely go and check out, although I'll be solving it for you right in the video. So without wasting much time, so let's get directly dive into the box and see what the box has to offer for us. So see you there. So let's get started with the machine. As you can see, I have already deployed the machine. It's a bit of glitch on my VM. I'm not sure why it is. Okay, and to show you one more thing, as a prerequisite, I have already connected to the VPN. Okay, so these are the two prerequisites when you start any of the TryHackMe box, start to enumerate or to hack. That is two prerequisites. One is to deploy the machine, and the second is to connect to the VPN. These are the two most important things that you are gonna do when you start exploiting any of the box from TryHackMe. Okay, so let's get started with the box. To tell you, before you start any of the box in terms of TryHackMe, in terms of hack the box, or in terms of your real life penetration test, you definitely have to go through a documentation process which you have to definitely read. Okay, so this always gives you some of the most important informations. What are the scope, what are the targets into the scope that you are going to exploit or that you are going to target. So these things you do have to keep in mind and have to take care of all these things. Okay, because one of the most important things I should tell you. Okay, when you get into a real life pen test scenarios or real time exploitations, you definitely get into these documentation things so that you never get into the trouble. Okay, this is one important note thing which you should note. So what it says, what are the prerequisites or the documentation given in the box over here is you have been assigned to a client that wants to penetration test and conduct on an environment due to be released to production in 3 weeks. That is, we are going to pen test some kind of deployment that is pending, that has to be deployed in a couple of weeks or a couple of days. So we have to do that. And looking into these two things, user.txt and root.txt, I can on myself tell that it is a root to boot kind of box wherein you have to first look for a root.txt file and then for first a user.txt file which is in one of the users that are present on the machine, and another is a root.txt which is a root user. That means we can definitely say and can guess that it is a kind of Linux machine. Okay, moving further. Okay, ensure that you modify your host file to reflect internal.thm. Okay, one thing to note here is we have to include this particular IP address that we have got. This is the VM's IP address that is hosting all the services that we are going to exploit. Okay, so we have to add it into our hosts.txt file. One important thing, that's why I was telling you, like, we always have to read all these documentation things. Okay, there is nothing I could find something important. Okay, what else? Let's complete it. That we have already understood what are there in the scope, what is to be done, how it is to be done. Okay, so without wasting much time, let's get started with the machine and exploitation thing. There are no walkthrough points wherein we are going to add or submit any other flags. We are directly going to submit. One is the user flag and second is the root flag. So let's get started. Okay, what I'll do, let's get started with the most important and the initial thing. Let me clear this out. Okay, sudo nano, I'll be using nano to edit my exe.host file, and before that let me copy this IP address from here. So once I do that, it asks me for the password because we are using it as a root, as a sudo. That means we are running this host file as a root user. So make sure you run it as a root user and you make the changes and implement into that file. So Control O goes for writing into the file and Control X is to exit from the file, that is host file. Okay, we have successfully added the host into this file. Now we are good to go. That how we can start our enumeration process, how we are going to start with the initial process of the box. So nmap is one most important thing to start with. You can use rustscan as well, which is pretty much fast as compared to nmap. Okay, but in this case I am going to use nmap to scan the host for particular results. Okay, not using rustscan for this particular one, so sorry, it's nmap minus v goes for verbose, sv goes for service version. So it will go and check for banners what are there related to particular hosts that are open. Okay, minus sc, it will run some default scripts against those particular hosts and services that are running. Okay, let me paste the IP address minus on. It is going to extract the results in the file called nmap.txt, and before that let me uh, create a directory and copy into the directory as well. Okay, cd, what I'll do, cd desktop, do I have any directory related to this? Internals. Okay, I have a directory related to internals, cd internal. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just paste this command what I was running in my root directory. Okay, let's wait for a while. It should not take much time. Okay, although nmap is going to scan and result in the first 1000 upcoming ports or the most common ports at first. Okay, it should not take much time, like in a minute or two it should get us with the results. But what I can see here is the port 80 and port 22 are open, which itself suggests, okay, there we are with the results. Okay, as I was supposed to tell you and I was about to tell you as well. So port 80, I am supposed that port 80, that means HTTP is running, and by HTTP I means that is there is a web server and there is a website hosted on the back end. So that means we are going to enumerate a website in terms, and next is port 22, which gives us SSH is running, wherein this is secured shell. Okay, secured shell service is running, where the version is OpenSSH 7.6 p1 and it is running on Ubuntu. Okay, there you got the Ubuntu, there you got the protocol, Linux protocol, and Linux protocol version as well. Okay, we are running Apache HTTPD 2.4.9, wherein it says that we are running an Apache web server on the backend, which is with 2.4.29 version. Pretty amazing. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just make it to underscore full, which is going to store the result for full nmap scan, and minus p minus, or we sometimes call it as hyphen p hyphen. Okay, and to tell you, the most appropriate term is hyphen p hyphen, which is going to store our results for all 63,535 ports. So let's get on to it. Then you can see the scan has been started, and in the meantime, or in the meanwhile, what I'll do, I'll just turn to desktop internals. Okay, let me do it this way. Internals. Okay, and I will start dirbuster, one of my favorites tool to enumerate hidden directories or the files that are there behind the web server which we cannot directly see. Okay, and what else, I'll just copy paste simply the IP address because we are using it as HTTP. That means, okay, I've copied the command, just a second. It's a bit slow. Okay, here there is my Durbuster running. Okay, I just copy paste my IP address from here. Just a simple task. What I have done, I've copied my IP address and I'll paste it in my address bar, or what best I can do is just remove this and I'll say internals.thm. Okay, it gives us a simple Ubuntu servers page. Okay, that means we are not sure what we are getting on the front end. What else I can do? I'll just simply state this as http // with the IP address. So I am going to brute force this IP address with, and the word file that I'm going to use, it's in user share. Okay, it's in word lists, Durbuster. It's directory list 2.3 in medium. Okay, what files we are going to look in is PHP, HTML if we have any, because what I found from here is, I guess it's an HTML page or an PHP page, so most probably we are looking for PHP and HTML pages which could be there behind running on the web server. And with my nmap results to show you, I'm pretty much sure that there is no robots.txt file running at the back end. Otherwise, if there would have been any robots.txt file, it would have been shown over here in this area with the default script that we have ran. Okay, so we are pretty much sure that that is not running in our case. Okay, with the results on our Durbuster, what I found is blogs. Blogs is what I find something interesting to look into, because we can get some information regarding some potential users, potential user list, basically a potential user list or some potential information that I can get using this blogs portal. Okay, so I'll move on to this blogs. And one more thing to note into, if you are pen testing and you are using Durbuster or any other tool, is that we are getting 200 response, that is 200 request response from the server. That means it is available and we are able to connect to it. So 200 we are getting on blogs and 200 we are getting on index.html. That means the host is the host is hosting some HTML files. Okay, we are pretty much sure. And one more interesting thing that comes up while we are talking over here is PHP my admin that comes up into play. So we are going to enumerate PHP my admin in a later while, or in some while. First, what is important over here is blogs. So what I'm going to do, I'll just minimize all these things, shift to my... Okay, so what I'll do next is I will just try to open it in my browser. So internal.thm/blog. Okay, that's what we found with the results of our directory buster, the dir buster. Okay, and it seems pretty interesting to me, which we are going to exploit, or which is not directly exploit, it is going to help us in the future exploitation. Now this is the part from web exploitation into penetration testing. If you are familiar with the web penetration testing or web application exploitations, so you are good to go with this. If you're not, then there are learnings you will be learning soon with the things. Okay, or else you can try Burp Suite's web academy to learn more about it. For now, important information that I can see over on the landing page is just another WordPress site. So this confirms me that we are going to deal with a WordPress site. Okay, dealing with a WordPress site, that first thing comes into my mind is exactly that we are going to use the tool called WP Scan, which is pre-installed and available in Kali Linux, or if you are using any other version of Linux or you want to download it in somewhere else as well, so you can download it from GitHub. It is an open source repository or open source software that you can download and work with. So we are going to use this tool to exploit and further looking into. Okay, let's scroll down and look for some any potential usernames or potential things we can find in some posts. Okay, what I can see, the last post was made 3rd August 2020. Okay, quite long back. Welcome to WordPress. This is the first post. Edit or delete it, then start writing. Okay. There are some archived posts from 2020 August. What I can see, there is another category which is uncategorized. We don't have any categorized or categories here. Okay, what next moving seems interesting to me is a login page, and if you can see towards the right hand bottom of mine, sorry, the left hand bottom of mine, you will see the link to login page, blogs wp login.php, which it is redirecting it me to. Okay, and there we go. Okay, if you are familiar with penetration testing on the web applications, you would pretty much be familiar that once we get into, we try to like log in using some default credentials. Okay, that comes into play like admin password, something like that. Okay, this didn't work for me, but what comes handy to me is the error message, and this catches my eye onto it. Error message says the password you entered for the username admin is incorrect. That means could be a possibility that we have an admin user registered with the backend. As of now, we are not sure about it, but yes, with the error message, we could be sure about it. So let me go for some test and test username and password. Let's see what the error message comes up. Okay, if you look into this unknown username, check again or try your email address. That means we are now pretty much sure that admin is there. So the admin user resides there. What I can do next is for this. Okay, therein you can see my PHP my admin page. It's an PHP my admin index page which says WordPress as the username by its own. So I have not myself given it. It's there when it loaded. Okay, password, we don't know of any password yet. Let's try for WordPress admin or nothing. Let's try for WordPress password. I guess it's loading something or no. Let's try WordPress itself. If it works for us, no, that didn't work. But in the meanwhile, what I can do, okay, I can try of using WP scan to brute force the results. Okay, so WP scan minus u admin is the password. We are going to this minus p, and we are going to use the directory user share word list rocky.txt with the URL. I have already copied it in my clipboard. That was http internal.thm blogs wp login.php. So I'm going to use that in particular. Okay, let's start with the brute force. It should take around 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes as well. No, I don't want to update it as of now. Okay, it has now started. As you can see, started and with the timestamp that is Sunday, January 30th. Okay, there are some headers posting it up. WordPress readme found. There is a readme file at the backend. Okay, the main theme could not be detected. There is no in particular theme over here. Okay, WP, the external WP cron seems to be enabled. There is some kind of, might be a possibility, there are some kind of cron jobs running in the background, or then we can look into for something. Okay, but it's like 60% confidence it shows by itself, the WP scan. Okay, so likewise we are not sure if it is 100% there, but 60% is a good score that we can look into it back. Okay, not so far something good into it. But now, as you can see, performing password attack on WP scan against one user. That means we have supplied user admin and brute force attack has started against it. So we don't have to worry about, we just have to wait for 3 to 4 minutes next to get the results in. So it has already started. Let it get started and show something here. So it is picking up each and every word from docu.txt and brute forcing against it. So let's wait for the results and I'll be back once the results are ready. Okay, so I am back with the results. The scan has been already completed and you can see it's completed with a lot of data has been sent to the server. 1.44477 MB has been sent, data received from the server, memory used, everything is there, and it took me around 8 minutes 47 seconds so far to complete the scan. Okay, once we are done with the scan, we got the username and the password to it. Username is admin that we have already supplied by our own, and password is my two boys. Okay, for this and for future references and purposes, what I'll do, I'll just create a file, nano creds.txt creds. So this file is going to store my credentials for any user or something that I might find in between. This is for WordPress, let's say, and it is for user admin and password is my two boys. Okay, let's save this, get out of it. Now what I'll do, I'll just jump quickly to my WordPress, site admin, my two boys, the username and password. Okay, not now. I don't want to update it now. It is asking for if you want to update email for the admin. No, I'm not for now. I don't want to update it as of now. Moving on further, it's loading and taking a bit. I guess the server is slow on its own. Let me check for something if it is running or if something is running on my end. Let's stop this because it has got only PHP my admin and blog so far, which could be interesting for us. What next? If my nmap complete scan which I ran is still running. No, yeah, it's still running, but we haven't found anything. It's 96% so far. I'm going to close this as well. Okay, as we move on to this dashboard panel, so this is a WordPress dashboard which you directly get into once you log into WordPress. Okay, it's showing 3 of the updates available. There is a plugin and a plugin update that you can go and check into. Okay, so what we do when we get started with this, when we get start with this thing, we try to find some of the themes or some of the plugins that could be interestingly vulnerable. But with the WP scan, we didn't find any vulnerable plugin or any vulnerable, let's say, theme that could be there. Okay, but what can we do? I'll show you one more thing if I can find it here. Okay, it should be here or I'm looking for. It should be some theme that I'm looking into. If I can find that. Okay, readme.html. Put CSS. dash icon. So this is something related to icon. Query parameters. There are some parameters, JavaScript query parameters, or in install page. No, 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 no. So what we can do, okay, let's try to look into themes, what we have for us as of now. Okay. No, this is 2017 name theme, which is by default there in WordPress when you try to log in or get into it. Okay, so if we want to exploit it or any web application, we always try to get something that is running on the backend on the web server, and when it gets executed in the backend, it should prompt us with the shell. That means we are looking for something that is processed in the backend server on the backend server. Okay, most of the times we do try to get something like that. Here in this case as well, we are going to do similar thing. And for your references, what I'll do, I'll just post something like, let me get into this, exploit WordPress to shell and in articles. So this is going to give me a particular article on this particular website, which is hackingarticles.in. This is for our reference and for our learning purposes. If we want, if we are somehow or somewhere like misleaded, then you can refer to this. Okay, when I've got the okay, when I've got the dashboard, I'm going to get into this 404.php page for particularly any of the themes that are there in the appearances. It's 2015 for this. I have 2017 as well on my own. Okay, then what I can do, I can simply download a reverse shell and configure it and copy and paste it here accordingly. Okay, as I will show you. Okay, herein also they have already copied a PHP reverse shell from Pentest Monkeys and copy pasted it here. Okay, once you upload this file or update this file, then you navigate to a particular path and you get this file. Basically, what you do, you try to what I should say, you're trying to execute this file or access this file. Once you access this file or execute in the backend, you get the reverse shell on your system. So simply, similarly, I'll also do the same. What I'll do, I'll quickly turn to my one of the folders which I have here, tools cd. I'm on my desktop. Tools, do I have this particular file? PHP shell.php. Okay, what I'll do, I'll open this in gedit. Okay, .php. I'll let it get open. As you can see here, I have already configured this file for particularly my own IP addresses that I want to get onto. Okay, and then I have my port 44444 configured for this. Okay, so I don't need to do much. I'll just simply select all and copy paste it here and paste it on the terminal. Okay, in this editor, paste it here. Once this is done, update this file. Simple and easy thing. You get this, the file has been edited and updated successfully. What I'll do next, I'll close this, open let's say reverse sorry, a netcat listener lvp 4444 for now, as mentioned in that. Okay, so I have done this thing. What now next I have to do, I have to simply go to themes, and what was the name of this theme? 2017 slash, okay, just for reference it was 2015. I am going to use for 2017 themes, TWENTY 20 SEVENTWN. 17/404.php. Now what I am doing, I am particularly trying to execute this file in the backend. Okay, once this file is executed there, we will get a shell. Should not work that way. Phew. Let's wait for a while. How we are going to set? Let me copy it. Themes 2017 404.php. There we go. Let's see, we haven't find anything. Okay, it was WP content, not admin. Okay, we are getting this error. Let's make it WP and content. HTTP internals. Okay, it should work now. There it goes. There we got the shell here, as you can see. Okay, we have got the shell. Let's see, who am I? So we have been landed up as a user, that is a web user for now. Okay, let's get back to show you some of the mistakes that we might have done or we might actually do while doing things. Make sure to change it to contents or the particular directory that you are going to look into. You should be particular about these things. And the most important thing, once we have got the shell, I'll try to get a proper shell on this box. which Python. Okay, it's Python only. Python -c import pty dot spawn. We are spawning a proper stable shell. Okay, then bash. There we go. Okay, we have a properly stable shell as it was just before. Okay, now then moving on, I will just export term to xterm. Okay, so that I can perform this basically. Okay, ls minus la, it has nothing to do with that. We are in the basic root directory. Let me check into /home ls. We have a user. Okay, let's try to get into this user. AUBREAWA. Okay, no, we don't have any permissions to this user. Okay, what here we can try to do is either we can try to do sudo -l. For this we need the password most of the times, but as of now what I feel like, we don't have a password. Let's try if it works for now, but actually it won't work. No, it didn't work. We need a password for it, which we don't have. So let's skip this step. Okay, no, we don't have. What next I can try to do is to cat xc password. Okay, we are able to cat this file, but let's check if we are able to cat this file as well. Okay, no, we don't have permission to cat xc shadow. Otherwise we would have performed another function wherein we could take the passwords file, where we could take the shadow file and get the extracted password out of this shadow. Okay, for the particular users that have been registered on this device. No, there is nothing. What we can do, cat, let's see, cron. Okay, let me go to cd dot We don't have anything so far here. What I can try to do is I can try to get into where www, then in HTML, which is our web directory. Okay, make sure you always check this web directory while doing this if you have found any web page hosted. So we have WordPress folder here. Sorry, my bad. Let me get it. Okay, so we have so many files to look into, and 1, 2, and 3 directories. First one is WP admin, which seems interesting to look into. WP content, which I don't think is very important. WP includes is again not much important so far. One more file which I look seems to be interesting is license.txt. Okay, let's see cat cnse.txt. We might sometimes find some passwords or something like that, although it doesn't seems to have any of the passwords or something like that into this file. No, our hard luck. Let's say again for ls minus la. Let's go to wpactive.php. Also seems to be something interesting. It might have some hard-coded passwords. So look into this file. We might find some hard-coded passwords here, or some encryption or decryption mechanism that is working behind. Okay, it's taking some file username and passwords that is coming. Okay. This doesn't seem to be too good. WP load.php. So there is some directory WP load.php which could be of some great use of us in future, which we can go and enumerate further. But still, as of now, doesn't seems to be interesting for us. No. So there is nothing important as of now for us in this file. Now let's get into wp admin directory ls minus la. We have got users.php, new.php. It is somewhat kind of, I think, registration and something. Let's look for some config files or something wherein we can get. Okay, it's credits.php. Upload admin.php. Get to this directory user cd user. Okay, user edit menu admin.php credits.php freedom. Then it's index menu. No, there is nothing for us so far. Let me get back again. Users, widgets, upload function, setup config.php. This is interesting file I look into. Get setup, sorry, it's unfig dot config.php. Now let's scroll upwards and try to figure out something like some hard-coded passwords or some hashes that you can find here in this file, which I could look into. So it's php recreate. Keep up the eye on something interesting that could come up, and unexpectedly you should not miss it anywhere. Okay, I am quite a bit not sure very much. Would we be getting something or not? But yes, we should. Going on, going on. I could not get anything important so far. There's DB name, DB user, host. There's something, some definitions to these. Okay, do I have any? Generate keys in salt using secure string fallback to API if enabled. Further, generate the password. There is some kind of string which I feel like is a password string or something like that, but I'm not sure so far. Which constant is it getting up something from anywhere? No, it's not leading me to anywhere so far, what I feel like. So actually, it's a lot of stuff that you have to keep your eye on to. There are a whole lot of functions, whole lot of things that is happening in behind. But so far, I didn't find anything. So let me again do ls so that I can find some files or customization. No. wp-config.php, it seems interesting. Cat wp-unfig.php. Okay, look into this file, you might get something important here. Name WordPress, okay, database password WordPress 123. Okay, it could be like the PHP my admin's password. Okay, let's try it on my PHP admin. WordPress WRDTREWS123. There we go. We have successfully logged in, and it was a password to this particular WordPress database. Okay, user seems to be interesting here, as you can see. Ignore all. It says admin and some password and email. Blogs. Okay, what I can figure it out from here is it is a username and password for blogs WordPress website. Nothing important here. Not to get into this. Not to get into this as well. There is nothing important so far into our database. That looks like interesting. Okay, go back. What I'll do, I'll cd to the main root directory as I haven't found anything so far, and I'll try to use this command which find or which locate is there, locate strict.txt, somewhat of if we can find some text files which could be interesting, holding some information like passwords or something. Okay, moving up, these seems to be some user files only. There is nothing I can rely on. These are related to Vim, PHP my admin. advisory rules.txt. Okay, license, Perl, these are related to PHP and Perl so far. Mount.txt, I'll find something really good to look into. These all are related to Git, something related to cloud in it, which shows this is a cloud hosted VM for us. All related to Python, boot, firmware. These all looks and seems to be, these files are default Linux files which are used, wherein this seems to be interesting other than the other files. Let me open this, Control C, that this file. Okay, there is some important information to us. Bill, this needs these credentials for something later. Let her know you have them and where they are. Okay, we have got username and password to this particular user properly. And now let me save this to my creds file as well. Okay, nano creds. Okay, let me paste it here. What I can do, I can use switch user to this particular user and not like this. SUAUPREA. Okay, let's copy paste this password quickly. Copy it from here and paste it right there. There we are in the user. Boom. Correct. We are going on to a correct path. We are not missing anything. We are not getting into loopholes so far. On the rabbit holes, we are simply there into this user. If we are here into this user, let me get into what we are. cd/homes list. Do we have anything? No. Let me get into this user. Minus LA. Oh, we have this users.txt file. User.txt. We got the first user flag here. Okay. Pretty interesting thing, amazing thing. No rocket science so far that we have done. We have simply got the reverse shell and simply gotten into the box right away. Okay, there I am correct with the user flag. We have got the user flag. Do we have anything? Jenkins.txt seems to be interesting other than anything else. Sudo -l is one thing that I would try to do. Not this. Let me copy my password from here. I had pasted it somewhere. Okay, it was here. Let me copy it, write it to the file and exit from here. Okay. Then let me paste the password here. Sorry, user may not run sudo on internal, so there are no sudo files or the sudo permissions available to this. Okay, cd snap if I can get something. No, cd docker. There is nothing. What it seems like is something related to this VM that has been hosted over here. ls cat jenkins.txt, which seems interesting to me. Okay, so it is saying that internally we are using Jenkins service running on this system. Okay, so this is one thing that I can see, and now what I can do, I could be using SSH tunneling technique, or we could say SSH tunneling we can do to get this particular port 8080, which is hosted on 172.17.0.2 of this particular machine, onto our web browser directly, because now this has been internally hosted. We are not able to get this onto our system directly. We would have to tunnel it and get this port 8080 onto our browser, or somewhat map it onto some port on my system. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll be using my bad. Okay, so I'll be using SSH minus L for local port. That is, local port is my local port where I'm going to get it. 9090 is the port that I'm going to get it. It is for now 172.17.0.2 on port 8080. Okay, this is the user and the password. This is the user on internal.thm that we are going to connect to. Okay, password I had already copied. Let me paste it here. And there we go. We are there with one more SSH session, which we basically don't need so far. But yes, if I go to localhost at port 9090, it should come up with Jenkins for me. And therein, as you can see, I've got Jenkins, and I guess Jenkins has got admin as the default username or password. It's admin or password, something like that. Let me try. For Jenkins, default username and password. Password is password, get automatically. Okay, it says admin and password only, but I'm pretty much sure it's just password. Username and password is admin and password only. So far, admin. Pretty much easy. But I don't know why it's stuck. Still not responding. Wait for a while for it to respond. I guess it's an internal server running. That's why it might be causing some problems so far for me. Okay, it should start with admin, and nah, it doesn't seems to be working. So that admin and password, whew, it's not working. What I can do, I can get and check into my post request and use Hydra to brute force this password. Okay, brute force username and password. So it would be pretty easy for us. It won't take much time. It's not responding. View page source, no. Inspect element. Now what you have to do, you could be using Hydra as I'm doing, or you can use any other tool to brute force this Jenkins portal. Okay, open this inspect tab, or you can use Burp Suite to capture the request and responses and then work accordingly. But for me, what I'm doing is working with this thing. Let me reload the page with admin, and now okay, we have got all these requests that has been made. One was status 302 post request made, then get. We are trying to get some data over here. But what I'll do, I'll simply get this. Now this is going to give me a whole lot of information. That means we are pretty much sure that we are going to brute force admin as a user for now. Okay, the page it is requesting is localhost 1990. Okay, we are going to use what next is the important information for us. I'm not able to see it here as so far. I'm looking for a post request the response. Okay, let me get it in the raw form. Okay, this is what I was looking for, the request in raw format. I will simply copy it and paste it back into my Hydra request, which I'll be making it now. Okay, is anything running? No, no, we don't have. Clear this out. We have a clear terminal now. What I can do, I could be using Hydra HYDRA minus L. Admin minus L is to specify the user. For me, the user is admin. The password is rockq.txt file that we were using, the share rockq.txt. We are going to use localhost as the host, then the port is 9090 minus S identifies the port that we are be hosting on minus 9090 minus V, which is the format that we are going to brute force, that is HTTP form post. Okay, then moving on, I have simply pasted the request response here and changed these variables like username is equals to this user. So this part is going to be brute force with the user, and the passwords are going to be brute force from the file that we have chosen. Okay, this is the whole request that we did. And now the third part after the colon is you should always use three parts. One is the request, then this, the username and the password part, and then the response that you are looking into or the response that you are not looking into, valid username and password. So for now, we are not looking into invalid username and password. We are looking into something that will redirect me to the dashboard. Okay, just quickly press enter and it should take some time, not more than 4-5 minutes, I suppose. Okay, likewise, let's wait for some time and let's wait for it to return. Okay. So I had a quick coffee break, plugged in my charger, and I'm back with the results as well. So till the time I had my coffee, till the time I plugged in my charger, and I am there with the results as you can see. For the user admin, we have got the password SpongeBob. Let me copy it and paste it into my creds file, nano creds.txt. For Jenkins, I have admin and password is SpongeBob. Okay, let me save this to this file and exit from here. What I'll do, I'll close this simply, quickly put it to admin, and now what next? SpongeBob as the password which I had. So now we are not sure if it is running as a root or what user it is running on, but it's just could be a rabbit hole. It could be a good start to get into the root, but yes, we are doing it. Once you get into this Jenkins dashboard, what you can do, you can try to search for Jenkins exploit reverse shell. Okay, you could get many of the reverse shell, or you can get it from the hacking articles page as well. Let me just open this. Open a new tab. Let me close all the unnecessary tabs that are open for me. Okay, I have closed them so far. Table of content, it's loading. Should not take much of a while to do. No, I don't want from. Okay, simply what you can do, you can get a metapreter session as well and the metasploit. You can create a metasploit payload and get a reverse shell, or you can get a reverse shell on your terminal as well using netcat listener. Okay, but the basic thing that you should look into is script console. You just have to go to manage Jenkins, as in manage Jenkins, and look for script something. It's script console, and as we have got into script console, it is simply that I am going to script something and get that script to what reverse shell. So what I can do, I can simply create a script and run here and get the reverse shell onto my box. So what I'll do, I'll create a variable called run r with runtime dot get runtime. Okay, you can skip this part so that you directly get the code without wasting much time. Okay, it is saying r dot execute. So what I'm going to execute, executing a bin bash shell. Okay, I've created these. What I'll do, I'll copy paste and get it for you without wasting much of your time. Let me see from where I can get it. You can simply use, okay, if I have it here as well. Executing the command, no, not this. And the scripting console, you can give some arguments to get the shell onto your listener. String host process, I guess this is for Windows one. Okay, for this what I'll do, I'll simply go to bash reverse shell payload all things. I'll get a simple reverse shell from here. I don't know, it's taking a while on my system to load. It's a bit freezy today, so bear it with me for some time. Okay, it has started loading up. It's taking 2-3 minutes to load in back. I want a bash TCP. I can use this either. Or what? So, okay, let's copy this. So now we are simply creating our payload that is going to be executed in the backend. Okay. Simply change here with your IP. This with port, let's say 4242. Well, let's keep it like this only. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll just say p dot to wait until and unless the process execution is completed for p wait for. It's like this, p wait for. Now it will wait for the process execution to be completed. Copy it. It's port 4242. nc minus lvp port 4242. Okay, execute. I guess it should prompt me with the shell, but no, not got the shell so far. Okay, what else I can do? I can use this like cat. So these are the online available payloads, anywhere you can find it easily. So I am doing using the same one. Okay. It should work fine now. After this, okay, what else in 5? Done. So I have created this payload and now I have to work it as string. What I might have missed earlier was to keep it as a string, and now execute this. Nah, bad and hard luck. It didn't work for me as of now. Bin bash. It's not working for us. Let's try and execute this shell if it works. Okay, bad with 17.15.31. That's my IP address. It should work fine now. Nah, I haven't got the shell so far. Okay, struggling with the shell. I'll have to do some more R&D on this. Okay, if I can get something from my notes here. So on another screen, I have some of the notes which are related to reverse shells, commands that I can run on. So I'm looking onto those notes, and particularly if I have any reverse shell plan for this which we can use. Okay, thm. Okay, what I can find here. Okay, this is how your enumeration phase works into and keeps your learning going on when you try to look into some of the files like this, when you try to find out some potential things like some payload, something like that. So these things comes into play and make you a good ethical hacker or a penetration tester in the way. So I've just opened my file and looking for a particular let's say this would work. No. Okay, this is going to work, I guess. This is a particularly a reverse shell payload I have here. Let me have this. Change the IP address to my IP address 10.15. It's 17.15.31. Not again, it didn't work for me. My machine is also going to be expired soon. I have added some more time to it. What else can work? Okay, my bad. It's port 4242 for me, which is listening, not 555. Okay, there I go. There I've got the reverse shell. Although I've been using some wrong port number here, but now yeah, port number is correct. I've got the shell back. So let me see, who am I? I am Jenkins. Okay, it says I am Jenkins and it seems to be like we are a Docker user. Okay, we are not. Okay, let me try to run some of the commands. Python -c import pty dot awn spawning a shell. Here, there I go. I guess it won't work for me now, as in, and nah, it didn't work. So what I can do, I can look and search for some configuration files or some of the files like those which are going to help me to get to the box, right? So what I can do, I can use which locate like we did earlier. I can use locate command. No, this is, we don't find anything. Which find. Okay, we have find. We didn't have a locate command, although we have a find command. Okay, so find in slash minus type dot txt. Okay, that's the command, I guess. Okay, type didn't work. I have messed up with the command. Give me a second. Okay, it's not type, I guess. Find. Okay, so what this command is doing, finding in the root directory. Okay, with name text.txt, although it is going to find out all the text files. If text files didn't work for us, then we can look for some config files as well with some other extension. Okay, wherein it's looking for user share help phrase text. Okay, these are all Linux installation files, release notes. This is related to Python 2.7. Then you can see these are Python 2.7 installation files, open JDK files related to Java, I guess. Okay, yeah, JVM, TI, yeah, they are related to Java. XESSL private, no, we don't have access to private file. Root, we don't have direct access to root as well. Where Jenkins home, license.txt, robots.txt seems to be interesting. If we had anything in the front end, we would be working. DC license, permission denied to so many folders I can see here. Okay, but what I can see is a notes folder right in here. Okay, let me cat this notes folder, cat op slash notes.txt or node.txt, cat node.txt, sorry, cat slash op slash node.txt. There you go. And surprisingly, we have got the user root and password to root. Okay, which is a surprising thing which we directly don't get any real life pen test scenario, so you can not expect anything to happen, because no one is that stupid or foolish to have your root username and password anywhere stored in the system like this. Okay, so what I can do, I can just simply use su root and type in the password, and there I am in the root. So what I can do, cd to root cd, okay, cat slash root dot txt, and there you got the root flag as well. Okay, this was a bit of tiring, and now I am tired while solving this bug. So many things to look into. Okay, there we go. Let me paste it here. Okay, there I go. Okay, we have successfully completed this box. Now to take a look back onto the box, what we have done, what we have solved so far, a conclusion, and take back from this box. Okay, so simply we brute forced WP admin, or we can say WordPress website that was hosted, and we brute forced our WordPress dashboard to get to the admin with the admin password. Okay, simply as we get the password, we get into it, we get to the dashboard, and then we exploited it to get to the initial shell on the box. So once we did it, we got the initial shell on the box. Once we get the initial shell, we tried to escalate the privileges. How we did it, we simply look for some configuration files, we look for some other files, but finding in some text files is a good idea that we implemented here, and we got to some text files there. One was the notes text file which gave us the another link that Jenkins, we got to the username and password for the user that was there in the homes directory. We got to the user. Then when we got to the user, we had that Jenkins .txt file there placed on the desktop. So I checked in that Jenkins directory, or that particularly Jenkins file, which was a text file that was a note that Jenkins is hosted on the local server with a particular IP address and on a particular port. Now what we did, we used SSH tunneling technique to tunnel that particular port that was locally hosted on that system and getting it onto my system back, that is our attacker's system. So this was one thing and a new learning in this box that we did today. Okay, this was a good take back. Another thing is, when we got the Jenkins, we used Hydra. Okay, Hydra is one powerful tool to brute force again post request login pages. Okay, so we did a post form exploitation, which was pretty easy and simple. Okay, we did how to pick up user requests, that is the post request, how to pick it up from the browser's terminal only. Okay, so we just inspected the element, navigate to the networks tab, and then there we got the request and captured it, copied it, and pasted it in there. Then it was pretty simple. Then next we did is when we got to the Jenkins dashboard, how to exploit Jenkins to get the shell. Once we get the shell, now again this was pretty easy thing. We looked for some text files or the configuration files again. To get onto the box, there was a notes.txt file available which was having surprisingly the root user and the password to that user, which was surprising, and you won't definitely find it in a real-time pen test scenario. So people are pretty like witty. They don't keep things like this on the desktop or anywhere is stored on the system hard coded. So this was again very pretty simple amazing box. I loved solving it. There was so many learnings to get into. One was Hydra, one was Jenkins exploitation, one was the WordPress exploitation, which was easy and learning through. That was a learning throughout the box. Okay, so we are good to go. We are done with this box. I hope you love the tutorial, you love the solution. If you love it, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button down below. See you in the next video with another box. Okay, it's bye for now.